Good evening, everyone. This is Anthony, Commissioner Regalado's Chief of Staff. I'd like to invite you all to the Shoreline virtual meeting. This is an informational meeting trying to provide the community with as much information with the planning and efforts with the Shoreline on the Rickenbacker. The Commissioner Regalado is here. She will start with a few words. And then there will be a presentation, and then we'll get back to the commissioner for a closing. Thank you all for joining us and for your patience. And I hope you all enjoy the presentation.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. This is Commissioner Raquel Regalado. We're super excited to present to the community the work that we've been doing on the shoreline with our amazing partners of Key Biscayne, and then also the Underline and Serbia and the Key Biscayne Foundation that's been working with us. So without further ado, I'll kick it over to Ulyss, and I'll give some remarks at the end. Thank you all for joining us. We're very excited about this project and how well it's being received.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Regalado, and good evening, everyone. I'm Ulyss Cleckley, MCL of the Underline. Joined here today by our project team that is working to perform a feasibility and refinement and assessment study here for the Shoreline project, which is a bold vision for the Rickenbacker Causeway. And so this evening, we do have a agenda for everyone. We plan to provide a project update. We'll talk a little bit about the advancement of the technical design and the viaduct that's being planned. Also, we have opportunity to share with you at a high level some of the proposed uses for the public space portions of this project. And then, of course, we are here to take any comments or questions and feedback as we move forward with finalizing the next phases and tasks of this work. I do believe we have some representatives from the Village of Key Biscayne. I don't know if Mayor Rasco and Village Manager Williamson, if you're on, I wanted to give some time for you to provide some opening remarks for the public tonight. So if you're on.
Appreciate it, Ulyss. The mayor and I happen to be here together, so I'll let him make some initial comments.
Again, thank you to all of the people that have been involved with the project so far, especially Commissioner Regalado. But thanks to all the professionals that have been involved so far. This is a great project, one that our community is excited about. We still have lots of things to lots of streams to cross, but certainly we're going in the right direction, and everyone is excited about the possibilities, how this will potentially transform Virginia Key and transform the entrance and exit of Key Biscayne to Key Biscayne. So this is something that we look forward to developing and working with all of you. Thanks for inviting us.
So I appreciate yours. So take it from here.
All right. Thank you, Mayor Rasco and Manager Williamson. We appreciate it, and thanks for your support. So to jump right into it, just to reset for the general public, there was a team that was assembled to perform this feasibility and refinement assessment on behalf of the Village of Key Biscayne. The Underline is serving as overall project manager and providing advisory services for this endeavor. A lot of the planning work and conceptual design, development, and advancement is being done by Serbia. And we have Juan Miliet, who you hear from a little bit later in the presentation. And then also we have HDR that has joined our team that will provide all of the engineering evaluation from an infrastructure standpoint for this project. And we have Javier Manso, who is here, that you will hear from a little bit later for the technical design elements that we'll talk about. And then lastly, as a component of one of the tasks for this endeavor is to really take a look at developing a strong business plan, understanding the funding and financing mechanisms that would make sense to deliver this project. And in doing so, we partnered with Rebel, which is a well-known economic analysis consultant that's a part of our team that will provide us with some insight around funding and financing for the project. So to reorient everyone to the reason why this study is important, I think we all know the importance of the Rickenbacker Causeway and the corridor itself, that it provides a very important regional connection from Miami-Dade to Miami-Dade County, but also provides access toward the mainland of Miami, the village of Key Biscayne, and Virginia Key, as well as other key areas and destinations along the corridor. And so as we've re-envisioned this corridor with the shoreline concept, we want to ensure that we evaluate and advance the design based off of the community priorities and needs, constructability, as well as I mentioned before, understanding the funding and financing that would be required for us to move forward for the next phase of evaluation and study. But also the operations and maintenance for this corridor. After you build a project of this magnitude, we need to be in a position to be able to operate and maintain not only the infrastructure, but the surrounding public spaces that we're planning to design. And then there's been a lot of work that has been conducted to this point. Miami-Dade County, the Department of Transportation and Public Works has done a lot of analysis and corridor planning and design. And as we move forward, we want to take and leverage the previous work that has happened in the past and ensuring that we really develop a robust, comprehensive, and impactful project for the Rickenbacker corridor that meets the desires of all of our stakeholders. But also, this is a fantastic opportunity to ensure that we are moving cars and people in the most efficient way possible, focus on safety, mobility, access, and then also having this corridor really solve some of the resiliency challenges that we have for not only the visitors, but also the residents of Key Biscayne. Simply put, we have an opportunity to, through this design, figure out a better way to move people and vehicles. And one way is to, as you'll see through the design, is to figure out having a better direct access, a connection from the mainland to the village of Key Biscayne, and then repurpose the existing infrastructure to be able to move pedestrians and cyclists in a more efficient manner, at the same time providing those direct connections to future development, as well as being able to handle the traffic demand that will occur along the corridor as there's pending development for Marine Stadium, this aquarium, and the other existing destinations that people travel to on a consistent basis. So this is a way to move traffic in a quicker and more efficient manner, but at the same time provide those pedestrian and bicycle connections. But lastly, one of the opportunities we have is to, while we're redesigning the infrastructure, is to reclaim more of the beachfront and design this corridor in a manner where we can have an actual beach that is a part of the city of Miami. And that's the exciting opportunity that we have. The beachfront will also provide pedestrian and bicycle infrastructure that will allow for not only more mobility to occur, but also safer access to these amenities as we move forward. By doing so, we anticipate to have an additional 160% of the public space to be reclaimed and repurposed for a higher and better use. This is a video that was a part of the original design. I think folks have seen this before, but it gives you a good idea of the existing condition that exists here, and how this is very much in the current condition, a car-centric type of design. And as you'll see, our plan is to move traffic and move vehicles effectively, but also reclaim much more of the infrastructure for public space use. So that's just a brief overview and just a reset of where we are and the reason why this engagement has occurred. What you'll see throughout the remainder of the slides is an update about the information that we've been able to glean from some of the technical evaluations and data collection at this point, and how that's being fed into future design for not only the Rickenbacker, but also, again, providing those direct connections to other destinations, as well as the connection points to existing and future bridges that are being contemplated by the county to be redeveloped. So that being said, I will turn it over at this point to Javier Manso from HDR, who will go through some of the high-level aspects of what we learned through our technical assessment report. Javier?
Thank you, Yulis. The one thing we want to cover now is to go over the technical assessment that we've done so far, more of a high-level evaluation of data that we have been able to document, existing data collection, and then some of the constraints that we have identified from an engineering perspective. Next slide. Thank you. So one of the key things that we looked at is existing infrastructure that is along the corridor, and there is a large diameter, 102-inch sewer line that comes from Miami under the bay, and it goes all the way across Virginia Key, and it goes all the way up to the water treatment plant. That large sewer line is going to be a key component that cannot be relocated, and it's going to be a backbone of the concepts that we've been developing to make sure that we do not impact or get in conflict with that large diameter pipe. Looking at the traffic as well, this is the area where is the sole access to Key Biscayne, and it's also a critical emergency evacuation route. And as we all know, during special events, there are traffic spikes getting to and from the Key that reduce travel speeds and it into destinations like Marine Stadium, Seaquarium, and Crandon Park Marina. There are two main bridges within our project limits. The Powell Bridge on the west side, that bridge is not going to be impacted. And then we have the Bearcat Bridge on the east side that is currently being studied by the county for a replacement. And what we've been working on with the county to make sure that the concept that we're developing is compatible with the bridge replacement or the Bearcat that the county is undergoing. Next slide. Drainage is going to be also a key component. This is a highly regulated coastal environmental area, so permitting and identifying the required permits for this type of project is going to be important. That's going to be at the next stage of what we're going to be working on. And the proposed improvements, like Yulis presented, is trying to identify a lot of opportunities to reduce the impervious area. So it allows us for, talks about next in the Virginia Key beach and coastal conditions. Take into consideration long-term erosion, sea level rise, and how we can make this part of the corridor as resilient as we can with the beach restoration and the reclaiming and removing asphalt paved areas. Next slide. On the environmental side, this is a very sensitive ecological area. There are some petrified mangroves on the Crandon Park that we cannot be impacting. Some of this is being coordinated with Miami-Dade County. They've identified some sensitive areas as part of the Bearcat Bridge replacement, and we want to make sure that we are in sync with their findings along with our concept development. They are also Virginia Key Master Plan, the Crandon Park Master Plan, that we are trying to maintain a cohesive and in sync development across all the different and ongoing studies along this corridor. Next. From an initial technical design, one of the key components that we're trying to do, like I said earlier, and then I'll show you in a little bit, is the Bearcat Bridge replacement. Again, that is in a very early stages or preliminary environmental study by the county, and we're going to be coming in with a concept that is compatible and it allows it for future development between the two different studies. And I believe next is I'm going to go share my screen. And what I'm going to try to do is walk you through a concept role plot that we have developed. And I believe I'm sharing, if you can confirm that I am sharing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So What you see on the screen is the two panels. The panel on the top is going to be what we call in the upper roadway, where the viaduct is going to be located on the corridor, and the panel at the bottom is the lower roadway, where we turn off the viaduct, and you can kind of see what the improvements are at the street level. Looking from left to right, on the left side is the Powell Bridge, and as we move towards the east, we're moving towards Grandin Park. Grandin Park Marina is all the way on the right. We got the Rusty Pelican, the Rickenbacker Marina, Marine Stadium, Mast Academy, Arthur Lamb Jr. Road. Those are all key areas of destinations. The Miami Aquarium, which might be in redevelopment, and then the University of Miami campus and the Virginia Beach Drive. As we zoom into the concept, the blue shaded area is the area what we call in the Shoreline Trail, is the opportunity for the transformation of the key based on the concept that we have put together. One key thing that we did in the development of the concept is to separate the traffic. So as you're coming from the Powell Bridge or going to the Powell Bridge, the safety of the pedestrians and the bicyclists, we are proposing to separate the bikes and peds on the right side. They'll peel off on the ramp coming into the shoreline, or they'll be coming in from on the opposite direction. And then you're going to have the vehicles, the cars that would like to go to Virginia Key are going to go into on the left-hand side. They'll get on and off and then go to the local road. And if you want to continue all the way to Key Biscayne, you continue on the outside to Key Biscayne on the viaduct above. Now, if we zoom in on the bottom, you can kind of see this is the lower roadway, and the blue outline on the top panel is the viaduct. Right now, what we're showing is a preliminary location of piers and columns, so we can identify potential conflicts and then design around them. We have also identified the large diameter pipe that is the red dotted over here. Again, 102-inch sewer pipe, and we're currently working with the county to verify and locate to know exactly where the pipe is and be able to design the foundations for the viaduct and not impact and not be in conflict. As we move forward, the typical section of the road below will become a 4-lane curb and gutter roadway, low speed 30 miles an hour. The viaduct above will continue the same speed as the Powell Bridge, which is posted at 45 miles per hour. As we continue on, at the Marine Stadium, there will be a full intersection at this moment. The type of intersection, access control, has not been fully determined. That can be in a later phase of the study, whether it's going to be signalized, non-signalized. That is ongoing coordination with the county to determine that later. However, the viaduct above would not be in conflict with the Marine Stadium access. So we continue moving east. The same thing with Mast Academy. The viaduct will continue to go over, and the local road will provide the access to and from Mast Academy and any potential parking that could be in the area of the Shoreline Trail. One key component of the Mast Academy in discussions with the county is the safety of the students and the drop-off, pick-up from the parents, to make sure that we have tried to identify the shortest intersection so that students that are parking on the Shoreline side have a very short intersection distance that they will have to cross, and then providing ample and very wide crosswalks for them to be able to cross and feel safe as they cross the local roadway. So we continue moving on, Arthur Lamb, into the entrance to the park, the beach, the mountain bike trails. That would be reconfigured, and then introduce additional access to what could be a redevelopment of the Seaquarium property. One key component is that we're targeting to make sure that all the parking in the Seaquarium is maintained as much as possible. And we're trying to stay away from all of that parking so it can be maximized for the use of the corridor. Looking on the top, again, the location of the columns, the potential columns for the viaduct are being designed and are being located so that we're not impacting the parking of the Seaquarium property. As we get closer to the Virginia Beach Drive, we do need to relocate that intersection. Right now, we're showing it as a roundabout. That can be, it still needs to be fully vetted whether it stays as a roundabout or a full signalized intersection. That is still to be determined. But one key thing in here, as we get to the Vericat Bridge, going same thing as we were doing on the Powell area. The local road access will come in the middle of the Vericat Bridge, and the pedestrians and the bikes will connect to the outside, eliminating the friction between pedestrians and bikes. The same thing we did in the Powell Bridge, we would do at the Vericat Bridge as well. The typical section and the limits of the Vericat Bridge are still being studied and coordinated with the county to minimize throwaway and to maximize compatibility between the two projects, depending on which one comes in first. As we cut across the Vericat, we said earlier, there is environmental and sensitive lands. You get the Crandon Park master plan. There are some mangroves, petrified mangroves that are protected. So we are maintaining the same limits of the existing bridge on the north side to make sure that we minimize any impacts to the mangroves. And in the Crandon Park Marina, what we're currently showing is sort of like a bypass. So depending on what the access is desired into and from the park, the Crandon Park Marina, whoever, there could be a bypass going, coming from Key Biscayne to Miami, coming from Miami to Key Biscayne, to maximize the throughput, and then as well trying to minimize conflict between pets and bikes and the cars. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Javier. Now, at this point in time, I'm going to turn it over to Juan, who will provide some more detail with respect to the shoreline area and the use of the public space areas that are being contemplated as a part of this design. So pull this up here and turn it over to Juan.
Thanks, Ulyss. So one of the great results of this project is the fact that we are increasing the amount of open space that we can get in this key. And as you can see here, I've highlighted the area that Javier has not shown you, which is the area just below the new roadway pattern that he was telling us about. The proposed area as we have it right now, and again, these are working numbers because we're still shifting lines here and there, but it'll be about 28 acres. So it's a plus minus, but roughly that's the number that we're looking at. And it'll go all the way from the Powell Bridge all the way over to the Seaquarium. Hit next. Next slide, please. Just as a point of comparison, the current area that is now devoted to beach area is 11 acres. So we are more than doubling the amount of area that we will have. The way that we're measuring this, just in case anybody has a question, we are not increasing or we're not expanding on the beach line. We are just comparing apples to apples right now. And if you hit next, Ulyss, I'll tell you how we get these numbers. In essence, we are extending the depth for this trail and this area for amenities because we're gaining a significant amount of land that we're reclaiming from the current asphalt. Hit next. And so with that amount of depth that we have, and it varies, in some places it's more, in some places it's less, depending on where the waterfront is, we are reclaiming 9.3 acres, which again is devoted to amenities, the trail, and in general, permeable surfaces that will allow us to take care of a lot of the stormwater that is generated in this stretch of the key. Hit next. So what are we going to do with all this additional land that we have? The current idea, which we're working with, is to create several tiers of amenity space. So the entire thing will work together seamlessly, but there will be some potential points of interest that we're going to highlight. The first tier could be open space areas for food trucks, playgrounds, courts, etc. Bear in mind that we're also including a number of spaces where natural dunes will be included, and that will also help us with the resiliency and our ability to weather storm events and storm surge. Go to the next one. Between these first tier amenities, which we've spread out on either edge and in the center, which happens to be where the Marine Stadium is, we will also provide some second tier amenities, which again could be kiosk or recreational rentals, very similar to what the county currently has in other parks where they have their shelters. Hit next. And in between, that's where we would add all those amenities that one could enjoy, for instance, bike stations, bike repair stations, many things that you can see today in the underline and that help and provide useful stopping points for the different modes of biking and walking and the using of this area that one would have. So for beachgoers, for bikers, for people with kids just enjoying the open space, there would be a number of amenities that would be included in the plan. Hit next. So ultimately, just to recap, we are proposing a trail which will be 28 acres compared to the 11 acres that we have today. And we do that by increasing the amount of permeable material that we will have on this stretch of the quay. And in general, the entire stretch will be protected by these beach dunes, which will be close to the beach. So just after the beach, you'll have all these beach dunes, which we will install by reclaiming the asphalt space, and then a multimodal path that will become sort of a leisure mobility option for pedestrians and low speed bikes. Again, similar to the underline. And then we will provide parking right up to the bike lane that Javier was showing you in his right of way. Hit next. And we will continue to develop this as we move forward with the team and with y'all's input.
Thanks, Juan. So that concludes the content of what we wanted to share with you all today. Just a couple of points of note. We continue to work well with our stakeholders at the county, as well as our municipal stakeholders from the city of Miami and the elected officials there that represent the city, and of course with our partners at the Village of Key Biscayne, Steve Williamson and his team, as well as the Village Council. And so we continue to ensure that we are providing those opportunities to provide feedback onto the design of this particular project. As we move forward toward finalizing the next phases of the study, there will be an opportunity to have an in-person meeting with the general public. We'll provide a chance to get even more feedback as we advance the conceptual plans. And we anticipate to have those meetings sometime over the summer with the intent of wrapping up this study by late fall. And so we're on track. We appreciate all of the support, and we appreciate your time tonight for listening through our presentation. And so at this point, I would like to see if there's any questions or commentary from
We had one question asked during, and it was answered as well. The questions Q&A section has been open all throughout. The only one was, has the giant sewer pipe been located yet? If not, then when? And I said, answered during the session, there is an as-built plan location that is being verified. So as of it, that's about it. That's all we have. Everyone that joined us, thank you very much for taking the time to watch the presentation and to listen along. If anyone didn't join us or if you were late, don't worry. Everyone that signed up with a valid email address will be getting a link to the video of this presentation probably within a day or two. Commissioner Regalado, do you have any parting words for us?
Well, I just want to thank the team and thank everyone for making themselves available. I'm kind of glad that they asked about the WASD main because that was one of our biggest concerns. And obviously, as we've mentioned before, the county did not know exactly where everything is. So that's been one of the benefits of this study. And we're actually working very diligently with the county on the next steps for the Bear Cut. I will say that for those that are interested in immediate issues with the Rickenbacker, we are going to be having a separate meeting with Miami-Dade County talking about what we're working on with the city of Miami and what comes next for immediate relief with the Rickenbacker and with the Shoreline and all things Rickenbacker. You can always contact our office, District 7 at miamidade.gov or Raquel Regalado at miamidade.gov. And we will be happy to answer all of your questions and keep everyone informed regarding the Shoreline. We're very excited.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Regalado, but a last minute question came in and we were told at the mass presentation last time that this overall plan from conception to completion could take 10 or more years. Is that still true?
We're still not there, but as Euless mentioned, we have been working with the county to ensure that we're still in line with the NEPA and the Bear Cut. So I don't know, Juan or Javier, if you want to respond to that.
Yeah, I can try. So a 10-year time frame is still potentially relative. It really depends on when funding could become available and what type of project delivery is selected. If you were to go with a conventional design bid build project, it would take a couple of years to finish your PD&E study, a couple of years for doing final design, and then another 3 to 4 years for construction. So if you were to tie that together from beginning of the study, and we're doing the feasibility right now, so that's another 10 months or so. Altogether, it could be about a 10-year time frame if you were to do it linearly. There are delivery methods that could be explored that could expedite the delivery of the project, but that also comes with availability of funding and then construction sequencing with all the other improvements along the corridor.
Thank you, Javier. And when we talked about the 10-year, we were just kind of ballparking it, what a project of this magnitude usually takes, right?
Yes.
All right, everyone. I appreciate everyone's time. Commissioner, thank you for your words. Team, thank you for your time. Manager and Mayor, thank you for showing up. We very much appreciate the support from your city and council. Have a great night, everyone. And as I said, you will all be getting a link to this video shortly. Thank you all. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
All right, thanks.